We go together like sha-la-la-la-la-ding-ding-ding-ding.
Oh, hey Taylor, you have your albums out again. What are you looking for this time?
Oh, I'm doing research for our trip back to the 1970s. Did you know that Grease came out in 1978? Every time it comes on TV, I sing along to all the songs. I've also got some more rocking stuff, like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Parliament Funkadelic, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Hey, did you guys know that they named their band after their old gym teacher?
Hey Taylor, I didn't know you were into the Bee Gees. Didn't they do a lot of the music for the 1977 movie Saturday Night Fever? John Travolta was it back in the day. He was moving and grooving all over the place.
You know, disco is a great pick-me-up when you're feeling down. Although, headbanging to Jimmy Page's guitar can be pretty therapeutic too. But you know who my favorite is from the 70s?
Elton John? Santana?
David Bowie? Or wait, is it Ziggy Stardust? I can't remember.
Diana Ross? Carly Simon?
Although those musicians are pretty far out, my favorite has to be Fleetwood Mac. Although they started in the 60s, it wasn't until 1975 that Stevie Nicks joined the band. She's such a rock legend, even now.
I love Fleetwood Mac. Rumors, their smash hit album from 1977, is one of my favorites. Crazy how even 50 years later, some of these bands are still popular and touring today.
Classic rock never dies, right? Some other amazing albums from the 70s are Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, Rocket to Russia by the Ramones, and Trans-Europe Express by Kraftwerk.
And if a record or cassette tape is a little too funky for you, you can still listen to some groovy albums using your library card on the Freegal Music app from the 70s and all the other decades. Oh, and don't forget to listen to some of the Centennial playlists featured on the app.
Anyway, hello Harris County and welcome back as we get ready to swoop into the 70s.
I wonder where we'll go and who we might meet this time. Though it would be nice if Leaf could figure out how to rig the time travel book to a fixed date and time.
I don't know, y'all. I like the art of surprise. You ready to head out?
Sure thing, Taylor. Let's hit it.
Wait a second. Did that trip work? We were just in the Barbara Bush Library. I glowed white and everything.
Oh, there you are. You must be the winners of the personal meet and greet. We've been looking all over for you.
A personal meet and greet? Sir, can you tell us if this is the Barbara Bush Public Library? You see, we work for the Harris County Public Library, and it looks like we've
gotten a bit mixed up.
The what? This is the Cypress Creek Branch Library. I can check and see if we have that library in the surrounding county if you like.
That's the old name for the Barbara Bush Library.
Oh, no thank you. We all had our tonsils removed and are feeling a bit loopy. We're not the winners of this meet and greet contest, but we would like to meet whoever this is.
Well, it seems like everyone has skedaddled, so that works for me. Come this way. He's been expecting you.
Well, this has turned out to be a weird trip. Who do you think the author is?
Probably some local.
Well, hello there. I suppose you must be the lucky winners.
Holy Toledo! It's Stephen King!
Oh my goodness, this is such an honor. I've read 62 of your books, 17 of them twice.
Well, I've only written 5 novels so far, but your hyperbole is quite flattering.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. King. What brings you to Harris County?
Oh, were you not here earlier? Well, Mr. King just released his 5th book, The Dead Zone, and we celebrated with an excellent public author visit. We had some cake, took some pictures, even had some rad little finger sandwiches.
Well, let me start off by saying that you have a very lovely city here. I've been here before, but whether I come and shop at your new The Galleria or have barbecue at that new place my driver recommended, Good Company Barbecue, Houston never disappoints. And NASA, they've been killing it this decade. We just got our first close-up picture of Jupiter last January. Oh, and that nightlife coming up in Montrose and Uptown. You can bet if I ever decide to boogie down, as they say, you can bet that that's the first place that I'll hit up.
We do have quite the city here, don't we? And of course, Harris County Public Library just recently opened 2 new branches. Aldine Public Library in 77, and this very library in 1976, the bicentennial.
Ain't it a beaut? One of the best perks of this job is visiting all the lovely libraries across this godforsaken country. Well then, let's get to some questions, shall we?
Mr. King, you just finished The Shining? That's one of my favorite books. The fire hose scene really freaked me out. I can't believe they left it out of the movie.
What are you folks, a bunch of time travelers? That movie doesn't come out till next May. Though don't worry, Mr. Kubrick has promised me that it will be a thoroughly faithful adaptation of my novel.
Time travelers? We're just a bunch of librarians. Sounds like something out of one of your novels.
Maybe you're on to something.
Mr. King, can you tell us a little bit about what's been happening lately? We're kind of bad at keeping up with current events.
Well, that doesn't seem like an author question, but as far as local news, I've heard that Houston is experiencing an oil boom right now. Though, between you and me, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes bust in a couple of years. I also heard that the new bus system, Metro, started operation last January. I rode your old Hugh-Tran buses before. They were terrible. And I think the library assistant told me that a landmark we passed while driving over here, the Dandelion Fountain, he called it, that's new. And hey, anything that sprays water in this boiling town is okay in my book.
How about the rest of the world?
What, have you been living under one of those pet rocks this whole time? Well, as serious events go, President Nixon resigned in 1974, and the Vietnam War ended the next year in 1975. What a coincidence, am I right? Oh, and in 1970, we had the first Earth Day. Over 20 million people across the country protested, the single largest protest in human history, in response to that terrible Santa Barbara oil spill the year before. See, good things do happen sometimes. Let's see. Well, we also had Walt Disney World, I guess, opened up in 1971.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I love Walt Disney World. I've been 30 times. My favorite ride is Space Mountain, or maybe it's Splash Mountain. Though you can't forget the Great Thunder Mountain Railroad, or the Haunted Mountain, or Mansion, or...
Which seems to be pretty popular. People also seem to be going gaga for this Atari 2600 thing that came out a few years ago. I suppose they call them television games. Sounds like a fad to me, but what do I know?
Mr. King, I'd like to ask you about movies. Have you noticed how many great horror movies have been coming out lately?
Have I noticed? I saw Halloween 3 times in the theater. And don't get me started on Jaws. I couldn't believe that shark wasn't real. There's also The Exorcist, The Omen, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Suspiria. It's incredible. But yeah, the horror genre is out of this world recently. Literally, have you seen Alien?
Yes, it creeped me out for weeks.
I suppose I should plug the 1976 adaptation of my book, Carrie. Sissy Spacek was diabolical. But if we're really talking creepy adaptations of books, did you see Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yes! That scene of them in the tunnel on those boats terrified me as a kid.
The Oompa Loompas still give me nightmares.
Ugh.
The 70s were an incredible time for movies. Hollywood bounced back from their 60s slump with a new generation of directors, making complex and popular films like The Godfather and Taxi Driver. We also saw the birth of the blockbuster era with a little scene movie called Star Wars in 1977.
Star Wars was my jam when I was a kid. If you want to watch any movies or shows from this time period, go ahead and use your library card to check out the Canopy app. It's free and allows you to stream movies, shows, and cartoons from all decades.
Darth Vader. Now that's a sinister character. Though not as sinister as the adaptation of my favorite book of mine, Salem's Lot. Oh, who am I kidding? No one likes vampires. maybe next millennium.
Mr. King, your driver's here for you.
Well, it was so nice talking to you young ladies today. And please, help yourself to some of those delicious finger sandwiches. Finger sandwiches sounds gruesome. Okay, well, there goes that idea. Maybe I'll write my book about the evil clown instead. I don't know. Where are we going? All right.
Can you believe it? Our first trip to the 70s, and we run into Stephen King at his prime.
Yeah, let's quit while we're ahead. You ready to head back?
Yep. Let's blow this taco stand. What? I heard it was a 70s saying.
Hey y'all, what y'all got there?
Oh, this? It's The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. After talking with Stephen King, I felt like I needed to freshen up on the best books of the 1970s.
I thought the same. This is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson from 1971. I've seen the Johnny Depp adaptation a dozen times, so why not dive into the real deal?
Seeing King really made me want to reread my favorite book of his, 1977's The Shining. Though if you want something really scary, try reading 1974's Helter Skelter, the true story of the Manson murders. That's as creepy as any horror novel I've read.
Other books from the 1970s include Kindred by Octavia Butler, Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin, and Watership Down by Richard Adams. And that's just the adult fiction, with books like The Lorax, In the Night Kitchen, and Fantastic Mr. Fox. You can tell children's books were full of color too.
Did you guys read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret? I feel like that was a rite of passage going into middle school.
Yeah, but I was more of a starring Sally J. Friedman as herself kind of girl. She was always in her imagination. Judy Blume sure did write a lot of books in the 70s. I don't know how she does it.
Oh, or A Bridge to Terabithia. That one really broke my heart as a kid, and it's still really popular to read today. Actually, so are Judy Blume's books. Timeless, I'd say.
These books and more can be accessed as physical copies and ebooks or e-audiobooks by visiting our website at www.hcpl.net, using the Overdrive and Libby apps, or by contacting your local library.
Is this a Stephen King book? This one doesn't look very familiar.
What is it?
The Librarian's Guide to Time Travel by Stephen King? Guys, did we have something to do with this?
That's a little scary.